Tonight's guest on the subject matter of student loans at Science Today is Public Affairs Analyst Olusesan, I beg your pardon, Okunade. Olusesan, thank you very much for joining us.
Good evening, and my pleasure to be with you this evening to discuss this topic.
Let's begin with your reaction. Were you elated with this signing, and how inclusive do you think this law will be?
Thank you very much, Felicity. I think I will be very, very frank. I'm kind of with mixed feelings with the signing of the law today. A good one on one side, and on the other side, I have my reservation going by the way and manner some of these policies of the government are being implemented. The first side of it, why I'm actually elated and full of joy, is to say that you now have the inclusiveness of not just people going to tertiary institution, but development in the area of vocational education or skill acquisition like you have it to be. You see, before now, we have actually pulled down that aspect, and it has given a serious setback to our development as a nation. It's not about the tertiary institution. We should talk about technical skills, which this particular loan scheme will definitely give room for. The other side where I have my reservation is that you will note definitely that when you talk about policy, we are not having shortfall of it. The major problem we're always faced with is the implementation, and to make sure that we implement it to the letter. But holistically, it's a good direction initiated by Mr. President, at least to have the all-inclusiveness of everyone having viable education, knowing fully well that the state, with the support of UBEC, should be able to provide both the primary and the secondary education for all.
I pick on your hesitancy about continuity. That is always a challenge in this country when it comes to implementing laws. What are there maybe parts of this law that affirms that this will not die with this administration, that's the longevity at the end of the day? We won't hear student loan was Tinubu's administration and not a continuum.
Yeah, first and foremost, signing it into law, give it a boost that we should expect continuity for every serious administration that consider education as the bedrock to growth. But be it as it may, you discover that most of the time, the laws that we have, once it's not in line with the policy of some of the people that are coming on board, they might decide to jettison it. But part of the things we need to do is, if you are able to implement this during this first remaining 3 years of this administration, and people can see value attributable to these laws, then it becomes something that everybody wants to put the government on their toes to make sure that we do not see the end of it. So for me, it's about starting it right, getting it right, as we have actually signed this into law, to see it through, and it becomes the project of every citizen to monitor every administration. You and I know that if something is beneficiary to every citizen, we have our way of raising our voices wherever it might be, whether in the valley, anywhere, to make sure that we are able to sustain it. And the government, we have no option to listen to the people, because we all know we practice democracy and not authoritative style of leadership. It's democracy, and it's government of the people, by the people, for the people. And what that implies is that you must try everything humanly possible to listen to the people that you are actually governing, what their reaction look like, and you must be able to see through. And I think that's practically what the president has done. During the last administration, we had a slogan of which the youth were really not in support of, to say that youths are lazy. But here we are empowering the youth through education. And I want to believe that if you are able to implement it properly with all the rudiments as said, that we are not being biased about it, the continuity is very, very sure.
Another concern quickly is the fact that the launch was delayed several times before we had the indefinite postponement in early March. The presidency had linked the delay to the president's directive to expand the scheme to include loans for vocational skills. How soon do you expect that it will kick off and no more excuses? It's now a law.
Yeah, now that it's a law and we have the inclusion of the vocational training as purported by the president, for me, plus and minus, in the next, before the end of this quarter that we've actually picked, give them 2-3 months to put their house in order and make sure that the necessary process. You see, the problem I am faced with is having the right process in actualizing the policy that I actually set up. And the fundamental of it that I always refer to is to have the right data. You see, we once had in this country housing for all, and we were thinking that by now it will be an easy thing where everybody will have access to easy housing. But what are we saying? It's actually been truncated by some set of people who feel that they cannot be beneficiary of it. And that is my fear with this. The area we must first concentrate on is to have the data to work on. And once we are able to build on those data, making reference to see that the right set of people that the funds are meant for are having access to it, and we can make use of media to propagate that the right set of people are doing it, then definitely we are on the right track. I'm confident of this if we are able to do it. And we must not forget, if there are people that are trying as much as possible to deviate from the focus, there must be consequences. Indeed. And that will serve as deterrent to people that actually want to mess up with the policy.
Olusesan, thank you very much for speaking with us, and sincere apologies for earlier stuttering over your name. Sometimes the tongue just doesn't work. Thank you for your time.
Felicity, it's a pardon. We are one Nigerian, and I understand the plight that we might have that happening. One Nigeria, and together we can move on for a better and greater nation.
Indeed. Thank you very much.